What's up YouTube, Stonewall here, and today I'm riding across the Great Divide Basin. So I got a pretty early start this morning, headed out the door about 4:15, a little later than I wanted. I was hoping to get out by 4, but just hard to get to bed early on town days. A lot to do, laundry, bike maintenance, get food, all that kind of stuff. So I only got about 6 hours of sleep, but doing all right so far. It's 6:45 in the morning. It's not windy yet, which is great. Done about 25-30 miles. Everything's going well so far. Main reason I wanted to get up early is because starting around 11 or noon, the winds just get really bad out here. I think the winds are predicted to be about 19 miles an hour today, which a lot of that will be crosswinds and headwinds. So I wanted to try to get a lot of miles in before that. This Great Divide Basin area is kind of just this open area of nothing. No water, no mountains. It's kind of just a big break between the mountains, and it's one of the longest stretches with outwater resources on the divide. I think it's about 135 miles. I met some people the other day that did it all in one day. Of course, they're going south, so they might have had a little better winds, but we'll see. I don't know if I can quite do that all today. There's a couple of spots to camp. I got a lot of water. There's only 2 or 3 places to get water in this stretch. A couple of them are off the route too. So I got a lot of water. I'm gonna plan on filling up when I can. But that's about it. I'm gonna keep pedaling, try to get as far as I can before it gets windy. See you later. Alright guys, it's about 9:30. I made it to the A&M Reservoir, which is definitely an awesome oasis for the wildlife out here. I've done about 56 miles. I have a lot of water left, maybe enough to get to the next water source, which is another 55 miles, but not entirely sure I'm going to make it all the way there today, and I just definitely don't want to run out of water out here. So went about a mile off route to get to this place. I'm going to fill up water. Wind's picking up, so the rest of the day might be a little tough. There's one section that I think I might get a tailwind, but it's a shorter section, so probably have a head or head crosswind a lot of the day today. But so far it's going well. Alright guys, finally finished for the day. Didn't quite make it to Atlantic City, but made it to Diagnos Well, which is about 112 miles from Rawlins. So that puts me at my longest day on this route so far. And today was a pretty brutal day with those headwinds. The first 55 miles was great up to the reservoir. After that the winds picked up. Then the next 55 miles were just brutal. I mean, I was probably on the good sections averaging maybe 7 miles per hour, on the really windy sections sometimes only going about 4 miles an hour, and it was tough. Just to give you an idea, the first half, 55 miles, I did in about 5 hours, a little less, including breaks, and then the second half took me almost 11 hours. So about twice as long. I got in here a little before 8, so almost a 16-hour day, 11 of which was in headwinds, so I'm pretty tired. Wind finally calmed down a little bit here as the sun's setting. But yeah, it's tough. There's been several sections on the route so far where I thought, man, I'm glad I'm not going southbound, but I can say without a doubt going south through the Great Divide Basin is way, way easier, at least on a normal wind pattern, because the winds usually go toward the east. So northbounders are going west and getting headwinds the whole time, and it was just, like I said, it was brutal. So I'm pretty tired here. Got about 22 miles to Atlantic City in the morning. There's a restaurant there, so hopefully they'll be open for breakfast. There were a few things that I didn't quite expect coming across the basin. One, it was a lot greener than I thought. It was, I mean, there's no trees. Well, there's some bushes here, but mostly just shrubs and grass, no trees at all. But it was a little greener. I was expecting just everything to be really dead. Second, it was a lot hillier than I thought. Just glancing at the elevation profile on the maps, it looked pretty flat, but it was kind of hilly. At least with that headwind, you noticed all the hills. When you're going up, I'm super slow, and going down, I'm super slow too. And lastly, it was definitely windier than I thought. I think I underestimated the wind. Forecast said about 20-mile-an-hour headwinds coming out of Rawlins. I don't think there was a station anywhere near in the basin, so could have been even more than 20 miles an hour, I don't know, but it was tough. Alright guys, so I finished making it through the basin there. Got into Atlantic City here and just had a big breakfast at the diner here, so I'm feeling a lot better. Don't know if you could tell, but last night I was pretty wiped going through that. It was a long, hard stretch. My legs actually weren't too tired, but my arms were super tired just from steering into that head and crosswind all day. My arms were so tired. Another thing, I got just like mentally tired struggling through all that headwind. I actually ended up playing some music. I have a little bag in the front of my bike here, had my phone in there and the music blaring, and that's the first time I've ever had to listen to music doing any kinds of my trips. I didn't listen to music on either one of my previous cycling tours or on my thru hike. I just never listened to music, but yesterday I had to for about 20 miles, like a few hours, just to help distract me through that wind. So I ended up leaving at 4 a.m. and for anyone headed northbound on a normal windy day through the basin, let me tell you, that is not early enough. I would definitely recommend maybe starting 2 a.m. or so. If I had started 2 hours earlier, I probably could have cut 2 hours off of that leg and probably made it to Atlantic City here last night. But yeah, leave early if it's windy, for sure. I did see some cool animals throughout the basin. Saw a lot of pronghorns. Those are always fun to watch run away from you. Saw a herd of sheep and obviously a lot of cows. I think I've seen more cows on this trip than people. And then I saw a few packs of wild horses, which is pretty cool to see. Alright, so I didn't quite make it to the next town. Wasn't sure if I was going to. It's going to be another long day after the previous long day. I think I'm still a little worn out from yesterday crossing the basin. But I've put in 64 miles. I am camped literally just off the road here. Finally made it into some trees, and so it just seemed like a good place to stop for the day. After Atlantic City, I guess I was technically out of the basin. There were some hills, but then I guess I entered another basin area. I don't know. It pretty much was the same, kind of just out in the middle of nowhere, nothing around you. The only exception was that I could see a big mountain range right next to me, which was the Wind Rivers, but wasn't really in the mountains, so it wasn't too different. There was a long stretch of road that was pretty hard to ride, just really washboarded up, not fun, but eventually the road got really smooth and I could finally put in some miles. I think that's about it today. I'm gonna go cook some dinner, get to bed early so I can get to Pinedale for lunch, get some food, and then my plan is to keep going through Pinedale, not stay there. That way I can get closer to the Grand Tetons. Be there in a couple days. Alright, see ya.